6 minutes, they're going to restart this final. Yeah, already 4 minutes gone. Gabriel Medina, Kelly Slater, and David Samplong with Chris Cote and our boss, Wooly. Look at this stat. This stat shows that Kelly Slater has never beaten Gabriel Medina man-on-man, but every time they're in a three-man heat, they've taken it down. When Gabriel Medina has won over Kelly Slater, he went on to win the event over in France and in San Francisco. This, you know, is a fact that Kelly Slater knows all too well.
Yeah, and you know what? Kelly did not want to waste any time on that boat. He was warmed up. He just had an insane heat. He said, let's go, let's get back out there right now. And look at this shot. You got Druku going out, representing the Tavarua group here. Kelly on Tavarua, Gabriel on Namotu. This is, I mean, for the Fijians, this is a big deal right now.
Gabriel Medina in his three-man heats went down to Flores and Logie, then defeated Yaden Alejo Maniz, then defeated Parco and Fanning in a three-man heat. Took down Taj this morning, Mick Fanning. He's got a lot of juice, but he's on his fourth board. And for Kelly Slater, went down to the great Mitch Colburn in that first three-man heat. Took down Issei Tokavu, then Fred Patashia. He won his three-man heat over Owen and Haither Alves. Then this morning, Julian Wilson, CJ Hobgood. We have an official heat on our hands, and it is our surfer in red, Gabriel Medina.
So Medina drawing first blood right here. That stat is very telling that Kelly has never beaten this kid. And like we said, it is, you know, you don't want to say old. 40 is young these days, but young versus old. Kelly
Slater, here we go.
Up and riding.
Kelly just finding a nice hook right there. Here he comes, another one, big, strong off the top turn. And what's he seeing down line here? Is this wave going to open up for him?
Well, he's staying loose. He's got a couple turns out the back. He's looking for that barrel. On the inside section,
big floater.
Float.
All right, you know, it was good to see how Kelly just, you know, he looked at that wave, probably didn't see a barrel at the end, obviously, but said, I'm going to work this thing all the way through, and I'm going to put the best score I can on the board right now. And talk us through this one again, Chris.
Well, the first wave he got in the semis was similar to this wave, not really offering that much of a barrel, so he just went to town, cranking these turns, kicking that back leg out, again, going around the whitewater. Staying in the power pocket of this thing. He's still looking for the tube. And right here, he goes up, check turn. Oh, is this going to be floater? Yep.
Little floater.
Airdrop.
That is not an easy place to do a floater.
So that will be a you know, a mid-range score, probably around you know, 6 or 7. The judge is still looking for those big tubes and the big turns that we saw in the previous heat.
Yeah, but this was I think a smart wave for Kelly to get something under his belt. You can see right there. Big floater at the end, and he'll put a score on the board that gives him that confidence as he gets back out there, and definitely wants to build on that.
Well, we can tell you one thing, the way the points are, with Renato Hinkle giving us an update, Mick Fanning has taken officially the lead in the World Tour Championship race.
Everything's happening here at the Volcom Fiji
Everybody is moving and grooving, and looks like we got some more lines coming in out the back.
Well, if Kelly wins this, he could move up to the number 2 spot.
Well,
that's after
from number
skipping
8 to number 2.
And you know he's got his eye on that right now. But before that, we got 27 minutes and 43 seconds left in this heat. Plenty of time with lots of action. And let's see what happens with this set right now.
This, you know, this heat has a lot of implications. So Gabriel Medina wasn't really even in the picture for the Rookie of the Year status with John winning that event in Brazil. But now by making the finals, he's edging himself up in there. So now even the Rookie of the Year decision is going to be decided.
All right, and speaking of Gabriel, look at this. Inside drainer. Let's see how it works down the line. In the barrel. Oh. Wow.
Wow, streaking down the line.
He found one of those little diamonds on the inside.
Well, Medina looking for another barrel just to heighten that scoring potential. This board's looking like it is fast, and he is using every inch of it. He's coming into that shish kebab section.
Oh!
Well, Medina not afraid to throw some heat right there. It looked like he intended on actually trying to land that.
Wow, a young Josh Kerr coming up from Brazil and really lighting things up. He just, you know, he loves to surf. And he is an amazing barrel rider for the first time in Tavarua.
And look at this replay right here. This wave is the one that's draining down the line, more kind of that peak that comes in more towards the west.
And Kelly's just looking right into it.
Kelly's just going, ugh.
It's all like, and Gabriel's seen him right there, kind of fades around him. Gotta be a great feeling to come out of a barrel and see your competitor looking right at you. You know, Kelly's probably giving him a face like, oh, I'm not worried about this.
Well, you know, I mean, Medina came into this heat. He's not getting psyched out at all. He loves that challenge. He's young. He's got confidence. He's won some CTs already, and he's ready to take it to town. And this is going to be a solid score for him to put on the board. I mean, we've got plenty of time left in this heat, and both these guys have big scores under their belts right now. And this is what we were talking about earlier, Chris. We don't want to see one guy run away with this. We want to see a battle all the way to the finish.
Kelly starts off with an 8.33, Medina with a 1.33, and then this wave. So we do have a really good matchup. And there's dear old dad going, yeah, nice job, son.
Let's do this.
Well, and looking at those highlights in that road to the final, I mean, every one of those, both competitors have had great heats all the way through. And you could say, well, has one of them peaked already? And looking at the way that that this final has started, they haven't peaked yet.
I mean, the guys that Medina had to take down to get to this final. I mean, Taj, Mick, those guys are nearly unbeatable in any condition. So Medina had to slay some dragons to get to this princess right here.
Well, when we talked about the matchups, take a look at this, and you've got to read within the matchups. Yes, 4 heats. However, 2 of those heats were 3-man heats, one by Kelly Slater, the other 2 by Gabriel Medina in France and in San Francisco, man-on-man matchups. Here we go with a battle on our hands. These two face off once again. And looking at Medina, he has been on a charge in the Prime Series. No worse than a fifth. A fifth, Fernando de Noronha. A first at Trestles, then a fifth at Sakurayama. But hasn't really stepped forward. A couple of 25ths and a 13th at Bells Beach. So he's number 29 in the rankings, and he could jump up huge. If Gabriel Medina wins this, he could jump up all the way into the number 12 spot with a victory here today. Guaranteed. It looks like he's got at least a 13th, so he's on a charge. Well, it was a foregone conclusion that John Florence is going to be the rookie. Now we got a new face entering the lineup as well as a rookie champion. Again, those that joined the tour halfway last year are considered rookies. They didn't have a full season to compete.
Yeah, and I think for Medina right now, not only would this be a great win for him from a point standing, but also to have a win like this in such a challenging, type of break, both at Cloud Break and at restaurants. I mean, this is going to give him confidence, I think on a bunch of different levels, and to do this in a final up against Kelly. And it looks like here we've got, we got Gabriel's second wave. It looks like it's an 8.6, and Kelly's sitting his high score 8.33. So both these guys have excellent scores right off the bat, with still over 23 minutes left.
Chris Cote, what do you see out the back?
Well, we got a set marching in up that reef. Both surfers are out there. Kelly Slater is holding that priority, and we do have a paddler. It is Kelly Slater on his backhand, pig dogging through that open section. It's driving down the line.
Oh,
just barely makes it out of that barrel.
God, Kelly he has just got such good positioning in these critical positions in these barrels. It's insane, and that wave was way up the point. And look at him, he's down on the inside right now, just going to town. Big hack off the top. He's got to be feeling good. That's going to be another solid score with a lot of time left in this heat.
Well, you can tell by his body language as he pulled out of that wave. He is fired up. Both surfers going blow by blow,
blow by blow. Look at this is at the top where that barrel's a little more almondy up there, and he's up high, squeaks out, little kind of like slip and slide, comes down, and look at this right here. Bada bingo!
This is where with each turn gets more intense than the last, and right here, this one just hacks it, arcs back into that section, comes back, he sees the foam ball on top of this wave, goes up, nails it, into a float, airdrops down, and right there, just a little mini claim.
You know what? Those sections are so critical, and when you're sitting out here surfing with these guys live, it's like, it just shows you how good these guys really are, because those sections are burly.
Kelly Slater, watch this as he comes out, still hands on the rail, and kind of gets up on a high side, and then he recoils like a snake and gets ready to unleash another spectacular move.
I was just thinking about Kelly when he was paddling out and he saw that wave that Medina had coming out of that barrel. Kelly goes, okay, is that what it's all about out here? I'm ready to go to town on this one. And he just unleashes on this wave. You can tell by his body language and how hard he's fighting right now that he means business. He wants to win this.
Medina looking to replace a 1.33. Oh, gets knocked in the head.
Is he coming out of this? Is he coming out of this?
Oh, wow. So Medina just, giving everything he's got, pumping up into that.
That wave didn't really open up at the end. Maybe that was a little farther up on the point, but.
Well, the Chief has made it out into the lineup. And they are ready to cheer.
Yeah, the bar is flaring up. John Roseman right there at the end of the bar. He's got to be stoked. And you can bet he's cheering for his good friend and Tavarua local, Kelly Slater.
Well, we've got it's the Tavi Namotu showdown right here. This is a big deal right here.
And
everybody's waving their flags.
And we saw at the bar they're running the operations for Volcom Australia.
Oh, yeah, that was Dougal sitting there.
Dougal sitting right there.
Dougal,
what a guy.
Well, Dougal is actually on his way to some international meetings that we're having in Costa Mesa, but he just happened to stop by for a few days to catch some of the action.
Not a bad layover.
Not bad at all.
No.
Okay, everybody's got 2 waves. Kelly Slater's got a 9.83 his last wave. Spectacular. He's trying to replace an 8.33. Medina, an 8.60, and what could have been an 8 or a 9, a 2.27. A long, fast-running barrel.
Yeah,
Slater out the back. Here comes Medina.
When you look at his second wave from Kelly, a 9.8, I mean, it just shows he went to town. And the judges, and you know what? I think the judges did a good job on that score.
Well, what do you do when you're 3 months old and